Hey guys, it's Chef Jason, your Ace Hardware grilling expert. Today, it is bone-in prime rib day on the Big Green Egg, and we are pulling out all the stops. We're gonna do a little 50-50 blend of rub-a-dub and coffee rub. We're gonna do the Big Green Egg Genius today. We've got our drip tray liners, so much fun stuff, but this right here is the star of the show. We're talking all things prime rib today. So let's jump in, let's get cooking. You know, everyone always asks, what do I look for when it comes to picking out the best ribeye roast to make some amazing prime rib? Well, I'll tell you what, I look for that right there. I love that cap. That ribeye cap is just fantastic. But I also look at that big muscle in the center, and then I try to pay attention to the size of the kernel of fat in the middle. Now, I bought a half of a ribeye roast, which is easier for me to see this, but if you're buying a whole ribeye roast, I start to feel for the fat on the cap. Guess what? I want to be a little bit thinner. I can tell, hey, look it, I'm a little softer here. I can tell there's not a lot of fat on the cap. I'm a little firmer there. I can tell there's a little bit, and then I want to look at the size of the tail as well, because that may not be something that we eat, but I'll tell you, I'm pretty excited because if you look at all that marbling in there, beautiful, beautiful marbling in the cap, we've got that nice choice marbling all the way through the center. This is going to be a fantastic roast. Okay, so nothing too complicated today, right? Because we are gonna let this prime rib and the Big Green Egg just work together to create amazing flavor. We're gonna start off with a 50-50 blend of our Island Boys coffee rub and rub-a-dub. We've got a little canola oil that's gonna act as our binder today. We're gonna use the Egg Genius. Now, if you don't have an Egg Genius, don't sweat it. Your trusty thermometer is always going to make sure you have temperatures perfected. We're gonna use our drip tray liners today because we're gonna catch all of our drippings from this prime rib in there. Now, this is what you've been waiting for right here, right? This prime rib of beef. Well, a lot of questions we get is, what makes it prime rib? Is it prime grade? Well, I'll tell you what, no, it is not. Prime rib basically means this is one of the 9 primal cuts of beef on the cow. So this is actually a rib roast, right? This is a 4-bone rib roast. This is USDA choice, but it comes from that prime rib cut. So we're gonna get this all seasoned. We're gonna leave the bones on today. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna have some fun getting that all seasoned and ready to go, but let's dive in here. Let's get our prep work done. I went ahead and added the rub-a-dub and the Island Boys coffee rub to a bowl, and we'll go ahead and get that mixed up. That is gonna be just an amazing bark building rub. Now, I went ahead too and tied myself 3 pieces of butcher's twine. You can see I made some loops on the end there. That's gonna help when it comes time to tie this guy up. Now, I'm gonna stand this up. I have the bones right here. You can see those guys right there. What I wanna do, carefully, I want to trim along those bones, following that curve all the way down until I'm able to make kind of a hinge cut right at the end like so. We'll just make sure we get this last little piece here. You got to be careful too. This thing loves to slip around on the cutting board. Now, look at that. We made a beautiful hinge, right? So what I'm going to do first is I will go through lightly, a little bit of oil, get that all rubbed in here. We'll lay that back like that. Now, get this all seasoned inside there. So I'm gonna put those bones back on. I want that to just build up a ton of flavor. Hey, the nice thing about those bones, they're gonna be fully cooked. So when you're done, you're gonna have quite a fantastic little snack to get you tidied over. So here's what we do next. First, we'll run this piece of butcher's twine under, get that all set, make sure we've got it dialed in. Here we go. All right, I'm just gonna probably do 2 or 3 of these guys, and we'll run this through here. And what I'm gonna do is pretty much cinch this down like that, and then I'll go through and tie this. This is just gonna help keep the bones in place. So I'll finish this up real quick, and then we'll come right back and I'll show you how we are going to season the outside, the edges, the underside, the entire prime rib. Well, there you have it. I just tied this in 2 places. Now, the nice thing about this, these 2 pieces of string are not gonna pull off all of the bark and everything we're trying to build. If you were to have this in a net, that net, when it comes time to cut it off, is going to strip the entire crust, the bark, and everything. So now what I'm gonna do, lightly again, coat this with oil all around, right? I'm gonna go top, bottom, side, everything. We're gonna get this all set and ready to go. Now, season it up. And I'll go ahead and pack this on here because I want to make sure that rub does exactly what I want and sticks. I'll put a little on my board because that way when I turn it up, I can pack the end where I get all that flavor. The great thing about this, you're gonna have beautiful end pieces on here. So if you have someone that likes it a little more well done, guess what? They are gonna be in for a treat and get some amazing flavor as well. Hey, and I'm also seasoning the bottom, the back, the bones, everything, because I wanna make sure this is 100% dialed in and ready to go. Now, we're all done seasoning it, so guess what? Now it's time to wrap this up or put it in a pan if you want, and go ahead and wrap it then in the pan. Let this sit in your fridge for about 12 to 16 hours. That is gonna really allow that rub to soak in, and you can already see it's getting dark. That oil is doing its job, binding this to the meat, and we're gonna have a fantastic time. So in the fridge we go, 12 to 16 hours. Yeah, I'll tell you what, this right here, the whole fridge smells absolutely fantastic. So we are out of the fridge. It's been about 13, 14 hours. We are gonna let this warm up a little bit at room temp while we get the big green egg all set and ready to go, and then fire up the Egg Genius, get the temperature dialed in so that we can load this prime rib. Now, my chef's tip for the day is we're gonna bring this egg slowly up to 200 degrees. Then we're gonna go ahead and add the convector with the legs up, which will allow us to put a drip tray in there. But I like to bring the egg up to 200 degrees, then add my convector, making sure I don't shock this and crack anything. So we'll let this get started. Okay, we just hit 200 degrees, so like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and add my convector. Now, I have legs up because guess what? I'm putting my drip tray right there, and then on the top of that goes my grill grate, like so. So what we'll do now is go ahead and get our pit temperature probe hooked up for our Egg Genius, and I like to put this inside of the outer ring. I don't want it to be in the gap of the convector, but we'll go ahead and put that in. Now we'll fire up the Egg Genius. We're gonna get this dialed into 350 degrees. Then we will be set and ready for some amazing cooking. Okay, big green Egg Genius right at 350 degrees. It's amazing. We wanna go fast, get this all set. Now, I'll show you this when we load this on here, right? But we'll go ahead and put that rib right in the middle. That probe now, I have loaded the meat probe right into the very center because that's where I want to track temp. Let's get this closed, let it do its thing, and I'll probably come back in an hour and check on this. But now the beauty of it is I'm tracking this on my phone on the Egg Genius. Well, here we are at that 1 hour mark, and look at that, sitting at 68 degrees. That is absolutely beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and close this now. Like I said, our doneness temperature today is gonna be 125 degrees. We're gonna pull it, let it rest, then we're cutting into the middle, grabbing ourselves a big old chunk of this beauty. I will tell you what, talk about absolutely amazing. The big green Egg Genius did an absolute fantastic job. Now listen, if you're using your regular thermometer, take that temperature right in the middle where we have this temperature probe. And think of it this way, you wanna go in the center this way, in the center that way, in the center that way. So right in the middle. We just hit 125 degrees, so it is time to get this shut down. We're gonna take this prime rib off. I'll see you back at the table. Now, most important part, resting. We're gonna let this rest for about 15 minutes, let all those juices equalize. We took the strings off, we are all set to go. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead now and trim the bone off the rest of the way so this lays flat. Like I said before, look at this. Talk about amazing. Here's a great little after dinner snack for you as well. So we'll get this prime rib trimmed up next and get in there and eat. See how fantastic that looks. Right now you get that. People that like a little bit more well done, we've got them set on that side. And now as we cut into the middle of this, we get into that beautiful, perfect, delicious, medium doneness. That right there is definitely worth the price of admission. Well, there you have it. Not too shabby, right? We cooked it to 125 degrees, then we let it rest for about 15 minutes. That is gonna handle that carryover cooking, which allows this really to finish off to medium. I always find if I cook it right to medium and then I let it rest, it carries over into that medium well, and that's definitely not what I wanted, because with the end pieces, you've got that medium well or well done, and then you get that perfect medium on the inside. Seasoned it up with a little bit of rub-a-dub and a little bit of that coffee. Now you can choose whatever you want to serve it with. Serve it with some au jus, a little bit of horseradish sauce, regular or creamy. You decide. Hey, don't forget too, that eye that pops up from time to time, that means this recipe is shoppable. So you can click that, find everything from today's gear, gadgets, and grills galore. Then, how do you get more recipes like this? Super simple. Subscribe to the Ace Hardware YouTube channel, click your post notifications. You will be notified when all of our videos go live. How do you have input into our videos, you ask? Very good question. Be sure to leave your questions and comments down below. Tell us what you would like to learn and how can we be more helpful. Then I'll tell you what, coming up at the end of today's video, we have more amazing videos designed to get you dialed in and make you a legend in the backyard cooking circuit. Hey, I'm Chef Jason Morris, your Ace Hardware grilling expert. Thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy your prime rib. I am, listen, there's no shame in my prime rib eating game. I'm actually gloving up for this because I already carved into here. I left a little bit of the tail on there because I wanted to enjoy maybe, I don't know, some of that, but I'm going right after this end piece or that ribeye cap like I talked about. That right there, I don't want to be a pig and take too big, but cheers.